Hey, it's Gilbite here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to go from this 90s look to this. So the first thing you want to do is remove the cover if it's got one, and remove light bulbs. Do not get oils from your hand on the light bulbs if you can help it. It'll increase its life. Make sure, 100% sure, the switch is off, and I highly recommend turning the breaker off to be 100%. Make sure somebody doesn't come in and turn that switch on by habit. That would be bad. So there should be 2 screws holding this piece on, which we will remove. These are flatheads. In fact, on this one, you loosen them and then you can pull this down. However, we are going to be replacing those screws most likely. Now, power is off. So you're going to take and remove. Try to do this where you can see it. Let's see here. Turning these the correct direction. Go ahead and remove them. This is gone. And forgive the popcorn ceiling. And we are definitely going to have to remove these screws. They're way too long for what we need. And I will have a link to the light I'm using in the description. So the base plate, this part is actually up to the ceiling. That is out, and you'll notice there's a arrow right there that needs to point north. I'm kidding. That just helps you line up the light when you go to put it on. All right, with this, put them through here. Now, I already test fitted the screws, and I ended up putting a couple washers. Here's why. The screws that came with it are also too long, but they're not super long, so I can use a washer, put a couple washers there, and that'll put it in the right place, and without me having to shorten the screws, which is a much harder task, cutting them off and then cleaning up the threads. It could be done, but washers would be easier. And one thing you're going to find is that you're going to need another light source probably. It's just not going to be bright enough because your light, well, you're actually using it. Now, lamps would probably help, but I don't know that it would show enough for video. So go ahead and start the screws that screw the base plate up into the light box. Okay, that is tight. You don't need to over tighten them. Take your new light fixture here. And that arrow, just when you go to mount this, you just line the arrows up and turn. So this one has a clip to keep it from falling. Just a safety thing. We're going to go ahead and hook that and hope that it is not in the way of the camera. I am using new nuts. So doing this where y'all can see is actually harder than I was hoping. All right, so I start with the ground, and you kind of twist them, and then you start the nut, get the nut good and tight. It needs to be tight. Test it. Reason being is this electricity actually causes the wires to vibrate. It's not much, but it is a little. And over time, they can vibrate loose. So you got to make sure that they are, in fact, very tight. And one of the things, this has the little thin wire, whereas the wire from the house is solid. And that can make it a little difficult to get things started. Have the wire, the stranded wire, just slightly past the solid wire. Then start the nut. They are tight, good and tight. And now, oh, and it's black to black, white to white, and green to ground. Sorry, I'm covering your view there, but since you're replacing, you shouldn't have to strip the wires or anything. They should already be correct. All right, good and tight. Now, next thing, if you did have to cut the screws here, you can use a hacksaw or something. Put a nut on the screw towards the head here. That'll also help you hold it, cut it, and then when you run the nut off of the screw, that'll straighten up the threads. So here we go. We got this where we want it. Now, you've got a couple options with these wires. There is some room here. However, you probably need to push this up, at least like so. Oh, and you can tape these. You can use electrical tape and tape these if you feel safer that way. It isn't necessary if you did it right. So I'm going to line those up. Which way did it say to turn? Okay. Clockwise. There it is. That's all there is to it. All right, so we now brought the light into the modern age. Yeah, it's a smart light. Obviously, if you look at it, it's got the ring and everything. You can change that color to whatever you want, do all kinds of patterns, have it move to music. You can dim that so it looks better on camera. And change the white light color to the warm through cold. So anyway, there is a link in the description, the one I used. And it is, I have tested it already and it worked well, and it's obviously working here. So hope that was helpful. If so, please like, subscribe, comment, and good luck with yours.